This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Black Magus, and here to give you guys a review of the LG stereo headset HBS-750. These bad boys right here, they're not in the package because they're actually sitting right here. Now, I'm going to put these around my neck so I can keep these on tab, because I actually have the, I believe this is the HB, was this the 700s that I last bought? The older version of them that I had that crapped out. Had them about 2 years, but wires frayed and all of that. Lost the clips, which made it easier for the wires to fray. I'm going to talk about that a little later, but I've been rocking with the HBS series of LG headsets for, I want to say, a good 5 years now, and I must say they don't disappoint. Good sound quality, good connection, very good talk. People say that my voice sounds very crystal clear, and all of that. And there's no difference in these from these in that aspect. You definitely do get a very good sound quality. Although I will say this, I do think these sound a lot better than the older versions. The comfort level is about the same. These are very comfortable. There are lots of times where I forget that I have these things on. In fact, I remember the last time I went to a building that had a security check. They were like, yo, you're going off. You need to take that off. And I'm like, what? And I was like, oh, this. Like, they'll see it, but you don't feel it. So that's how comfortable they are. One thing about these that I think blows out any of the older versions, is the battery life. The battery life is extremely long. These right here, the older ones, battery life, I would say you'd have about 10 to 15 hours of idle time and a good 8 hours of talk time. These, now on the back of the box, it actually says that you can talk up to 15 hours, you can play, which means play music, up to 10, and it has a 500-hour standby. Now, I didn't push all of those limits, but I can attest to you, the play thing is real. I actually left these on and left my music on my phone one day, wasn't paying attention, and then all of a sudden, turn off my TV and I hear noise, and I'm like, what's that? And these are playing music. Now, I was playing music when I was on the train. I'll say I was on the train around 10 a.m. that morning, and this was around 6 in the afternoon, maybe. So that should tell you something right there. And all the while, I'm like hustling back and forth, not even listening to the fact that the music is on. And because of where I was at, it was a lot of noise, lots going on, lots of conversation. So I didn't even pay attention to the fact that my music was still on, because I would pick up the phone, answer phone calls, all that, yada yada. Music just playing, like draining my phone battery, which makes sense as to why my phone actually battery was low as hell when I got home. So, but the battery life's amazing. It is a very, very long battery life. I like little features like now, as in comparison with the older style ones, the buttons, let me see if I can get these in the camera, all the buttons on top. With the newer version, these buttons are now rest on the side. It's kind of hard to see them in the glare, but all the buttons lay on the side. That's actually better, because I would have a problem with the older ones. Like if I would lean my head to the side sometimes, it would call someone, or it would start the music automatically because the buttons rest right here. Now you don't have to worry about your face, especially if you got a fat face like mine, turning on things. The power button is on the inside, whereas it was on the outside on the old ones. It was a little awkward at first, but actually I like that better, because again, you won't accidentally turn it on from the outside. So if you have them off, you have to actually reach in to turn them on. So that's a good thing right there. They have made it so that where the headphones rest, it's slightly different. See how with the new ones right here, they rest more on the bottom half of the headset, whereas these right here, they kind of, oh, it just fell out. See, and that was one of the problems. They kind of rest on the outside, which made them easier to come loose, which made it easier, I think, in my opinion, to snag off, and which is why I don't have the clamps to them. Again, the clamps for these are completely closed and a lot thicker, so you pretty much have to break these clamps to get them all, whereas the older ones, they were very thin and very loose. It was easy to pull the wires out, and that led to a lot of damage happening with them, which is the thing that I mentioned earlier I want to get to. Now, because the clamps are a lot thicker, you have your wires secured to the headset a lot better. That's great because these wires can get frayed a lot, and they actually put a little added protection at the ends of the wires, whereas it was just the wire connected to the plastic. You probably can't see it, but there's a little tiny, I guess you could say it's a little covering for the end of the wire to help stop it from like fraying from the bending. Because when the wire came loose from the clamp, it was like it would fray itself naturally from the motion. This kind of prevents that, so I'm glad that they do that. You want to be very mindful to keep these earbuds in, though, because this is another part of where the damage of these headphones come in, is that a lot of times people will put them around their neck and you let these hang loosely. You don't want to do that because you can get them caught in all types of things. The magnet seems a lot more powerful in this version, so it's a lot harder to pull them loose as it was with the older versions. So they're secured very well, but you want to always make sure when you are done using your earphones, consciously put them back here, because you want to keep these in as good a shape as possible, because they're very good headphones. One of the things I didn't notice is whether or not these were water resistant like the old pair. I'm going to assume they are, because a lot of people use these for working out and things like that. They'll take a little water in the old versions, so I'm hoping the new versions do. They don't really say that on the back of here, which I was surprised, and I didn't see it in the manual as well. They're mini USB, so that's how you power them. Bluetooth 3.0. That's the version of Bluetooth. They talk to you, which is, I think, kind of cute. I think that's the feature that's going on with Bluetooth now these days. When you first turn them on, if you have the earbuds in your ear, it'll tell you power on, and it'll actually give you an indication of where your battery level is. So it'll vocally tell you what your battery is. And if it's low, it'll come in and chime in. It's like your battery level is low. So you'll know when to recharge them. But because they last so long, you may not hear that message for a while, for a good while. Because I have to say, I've had these about 2 weeks now. I think I've charged them once. That's saying something. That's good battery life. So definitely these are worth the purchase. The one big negative that I could find about these is I've read on the LG site as well as other people's reviews when I was looking these up to purchase. There's occasionally a problem. Some people's Wi-Fi or certain Wi-Fis in certain areas can disrupt the connection of these to your phone. So check that out. Go to the LG site and see what it's all about. I haven't had that issue, but I've heard that there are people who have issues, whereas when they try to connect their phones in areas where certain Wi-Fi is, it doesn't work. Or it won't connect to their phone while they're connected to Wi-Fi. In the house, my phone is always connected to my Wi-Fi, and I've used these in the house, so I've never had that problem, but it is an issue that people have had with these. So keep that in mind when you purchase them and do some investigation. But otherwise, I definitely recommend these headphones. Like I said, they feel great. You barely feel them on your neck. Earbuds feel comfortable in your ear because they're very loose at the end and they kind of like fold and mold to your earlobes. Yeah, they're great. It's another great headset by LG. So you're in the market for a headset, but you don't want just the one ear, and you want to have something that you can use for music, while you're riding the train, while you're working out, things like that. These are probably the way to go. They retail between $40 to $60 depending on where you get them from. Check Amazon. That's where I got them for at the cheapest. So that's the tip right there. And I'll try to put the link in the description to the ones that I actually purchased. Alright, y'all. As always, hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Megas, and I'm out. Deuces.